Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our offer team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, very often there are events that take place in our area or in our surrounding area, and we're not always familiar with it. I am very excited to have Father Michael Champon with us. Father Michael, thank you for joining us today.
Good to be with you, Keith.
We appreciate it. And so, Father, tell us a little bit about how this idea, and it is the Fete du Mississippi. Tell us a little bit about how it came to be, and then now in your 10 years here of doing this event.
Yeah, Keith, it started 10 years ago. Actually, it was Fete du Teche. I grew up on Bayou Teche, and I live on the Teche in St. Martinville.
Oh, wow.
Teche is one of the areas the Acadians arrived. So back in 2015, we were having our 250th anniversary of the arrival of the Acadians, and also our parish church, St. Martin de Tours, was 1765. So it was also 250th anniversary of the church. So I was riding with the nuns in the pickup truck, and we're on the side of the bayou, and all of a sudden, sisters, we need a procession, a Eucharistic procession, but we need to do it by boat. So we had the idea to reenact the arrival of the Acadians, who came by boat, and they came down the bayou after they got their land grants. And of course, they were persecuted for their Catholic faith, and they brought their priest with them, as most missionaries, De Soto brought his priest, and Jacques Marquette, Pierre Marquette came down as a priest. And so you had a lot of priests that were coming into the New World. So they brought their priest with them, and they were very devoted to Our Lady of the Assumption. So the star on their flag was Stella Maris, Star of Sea, which was a navigating patron, but also because she is already in heaven, assumed into heaven. So that was the Feast Day of the Acadians. So we decided to do this, and we did it in 2015, kind of one and done, but it was so powerful, we started to do it annually on the Feast of the Assumption's Blessed Mother. And however, about 2 years ago, when they called this Eucharistic revival in the United States, we said, look, it's going to be our 10th anniversary. Let's do something special. A lot of the industry we were talking to wanted to bless the river, which hadn't been done, and also bless the state. So we started doing preparations, and now we're going to move on the river.
Well, this is awfully exciting to graduate, if you will, from the Teche to the mighty Mississippi. You know, the Mississippi is very well known for so many different things, but in our neck of the woods, it was the route in which people came to develop and really come to the New World as they founded so many different places. And so this is so very exciting as we're going to do this Fete du Mississippi, the 2024. It's the Blessing Louisiana and the Mighty River. And it's so very, very exciting that it has grown to this. And so, Father, when you had this idea, I gotta ask, what were people's first reaction to you wanting to do this festival on the water, in the bayou, on the Teche?
Well, I didn't know. I thought it was going to be shot down, by ecclesiastical authority. But I ran it by the vicar general. We run some traps. You don't put all your crab traps out. You drop a few and you see how it's going, and then you decide where you're going to drop the rest of them. So I ran a few traps, and it was a wow, yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. And then the bishop was in favor, so we went ahead and did it. It was going to be a one and done, but it was so powerful that he approved it to do it annually. And then we're going to move back on the Teche next year. This is a thing that's done to bless the river, the state, and but we have the governor on board, mayor of Baton Rouge, mayor of New Orleans, mayors, the representatives. So this is a God-fearing people we have in Louisiana. And Catholic and non-Catholic, they all wanted to say, we got to bless the river. Right. We got to thank God for the benefits of the river in our state, but we need protection on the river as we work the river. And it's economical, it's historical, it's cultural, religious. The churches were founded along the river as missionaries came in from Europe, and they worked along with the Indians along the river route and trade. I think a recent study, $800 billion per year the river contributes to the U.S. Economy, and
Wow.
probably 25% of the fuel is refined between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. So it's a huge economic thrust. It provides a ton of jobs, but the faith is all permeated all the way along there. The church is every 7-8 miles, and there's a church facing the river.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it's such a wonderful way for us to really look back and to be able to honor the founding of and to honor all of those the history of what we're kind of grounded on, if you will, and being able to bless through the Mississippi. It's very, very similar to the blessing of the fleets that are done down a lot of the bayous and waterways down this way, and so it's so very special to be able to really honor and really respect what the Mississippi means. It's a cultural icon for the state. But more importantly, it's so important to our culture. And as you mentioned, it's so very important to the business and development down in that area.
Absolutely.
And so we're excited as we got about a minute left. This is the blessing of the mighty river. It is going to take place on August 14th and 15th. In 2024, as you imagine, it's going to start in Baton Rouge and it's going to come down and finish in New Orleans. And I'm very, very glad to have with us Father Michael Champagne, who is the founder and initiator of this, and very excited about that. What we're going to do, Father, if it's okay with you, we'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we want to spend a little bit of time talking about that route. We want to talk about how things are going to begin and how the bishop's going to be there over in Baton Rouge and how we're going to move forward, and we're going to bless everything along the way down the Mississippi. As you guys have started 10 years ago in the Tesh, we're going to celebrate in a very large way here on the August 14th and 15th for the mighty Mississippi. So, Father, thank you for joining us. We appreciate those people watching as well. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with a whole lot more about the blessing of the Mississippi.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weisheidt, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us, as we welcome back to the program Father Michael Champagne. Father Michael, thank you again for joining us.
Good to be with you, Keith.
Yes, sir. And again, we're talking about the 10th annual Fete du Tesh Eucharistic procession, which is going to be held on August 14th and 15th, and it will be on the Mississippi River for this celebratory 10th year. And things are all going to begin over in Baton Rouge, as we had mentioned. And so, Father, if you wouldn't mind, share with us kind of the starting point of how things will begin and some of the blessings that we'll get from those people starting in Baton Rouge.
Yes. Okay, Keith. Well, we're going to start August 14th, which is a Wednesday at 8 a.m. with a mass at St. Joseph Cathedral in Baton Rouge. Bishop Duke will be there, the bishops of the province, which is Louisiana. There'll be a lot of concelebrating priests. And at the end of mass, we're going to expose the Blessed Sacrament in a monstrance that's been specially made for the occasion. It's a 14-foot monstrance, which is a world record monstrance. And that monstrance is going to be processed down Main Street till we get to River Road, and then across River Road to the foot of the I-10 bridge, Mississippi River Bridge. Shamrock has a dock there. We're going to take about 45 minutes to transfer equipment, and then we'll bring the Blessed Sacrament up to the altar. There'll be a cannon blast, and then we're going to take off with a flotilla, about 15 boats, tugboats. We'll have the sheriff department, and then we're going to have the bell boat, which will have 6 bells from around the state of Louisiana. About 730 something years of ringing of bells.
Oh my!
St. Martin de Tours, a 1850 bell, and then a 1894 bell from a monastery. We have St. John Edgard bell that's there as well. That's an 1894 bell from St. John Parish. We have a Union, Our Lady of the River in Union, St. Mary's. That bell will be there. So they'll be ringing bells, and then we have a big crucifix boat. So we always have a procession with a crucifix. 17-foot crucifix has been made, especially for the occasion. It's a model of a French early 1800 crucifix from France that was rebuilt, and we built a big, so it's about 250 pounds. It'll be something to carry, but it'll be on a boat by itself. Then we'll follow that with incense. So before the Eucharist, we always have incense wafting up in the air from Psalms. My prayers rise like incense, like the evening oblation. So we'll have incense blowing. We have a big thurible, which will be bringing holy smoke there in front of the Eucharist. Then the Eucharist boat. The Eucharist boat, we're going to have that monstrance on an altar, on a houseboat, and that's going to be pushed by a tug, a push boat.
Oh, nice.
And that'll be coming behind the incense. Then behind that, we have a Assumption boat, because it's the Feast of the Assumption.
Right.
So we'll have a statue of Our Lady. And then we'll have a bunch of boats in between, and that'll vary depending on work boats and different companies that'll have a boat available that want to get in on the procession, and then they'll have to get out at another location.
Right.
And then St. Joseph will follow at the end, kind of La Portaria, kind of protecting the house. He'll close the procession. So then we'll pass. We're going to make a pass by in Plaquemine. There'll be a little rally there. We'll talk about that. Then we'll pass by Donaldsonville. There'll be a group gathered there to receive the blessing. We'll move on and end up in Convent for the evening, about 5:40. There'll be a big group at the Associated Terminal dock there, and we're going to disembark, process down River Road, and then go into the St. Michael's Church, which is a historic church. 1831, that church was consecrated. Mass was being said there in the early, about 1800. And then we're going to have all-night adoration in that church for the Aquinas Gilbo, who's a homeboy from Carencro.
Right.
He's chaplain at Catholic University of America. He's flying down. He's going to be with us to preach that evening, for Vespers, the next morning for morning prayer. Then about 10 o'clock on August 15, we're going to get back on the boats, another procession to the river. And then we're going to anchors away, and then we're going to pass by Reserve. So we'll have a river rally over in Reserve by St. Peter the Apostle Church. We'll pass there. And then we're going to make a pass by Luling. And in Luling, there'll be a wreath memorial for the deceased of that tragic accident you would remember in 1976.
76, right.
People lost their lives. So we're going to have a memorial there for families and for the souls that lost their life. Then we'll, and we have in Luling, Dr. Tom Neal from Tallahassee's coming in. He's a national speaker, is going to speak to us. At each of these sites, we'll be praying the rosary.
Okay,
so,
at every site.
So we'll have the mayor give an introduction. We'll have the pledge. Then we're going to have this kind of pep talk, like a little kind of spiritual tailgating, if you will.
I like it.
The entourage passes, and then the rosary. And then right about the end of the rosary, we hope that then the entourage passes. It's going to be like about a mile and a quarter procession.
Right.
And then we'll turn to monstrance and have a blessing for those gathered on the levee. We're not going to break cadence. We'll continue.
Continue on. Continue on. We got about a minute left, Father. I want to let you know.
We're gonna do go by Audubon Fly into Orleans Parish, and about that time the Natchez steamboat is gonna meet us with about 1,000 pilgrims.
Oh my goodness!
And it's gonna turn and it's gonna fall behind the Eucharist boat. It'll enter the procession, so it'll be an opportunity for about 1,000 people on the water to have a holy hour. We're gonna arrive at the Natchez dock about 4:30, disembark. We're going to have a big procession on Riverwalk, a blessing at 5:15 with the shots of the cannon for benediction, through Jackson Square into St. Louis Cathedral Basilica for a 6 p.m. Mass.
Mass
and then about 7:30. And then we're going to have a little Fete in the Jackson Square to close it off.
Father, I got to tell you, this is an exceptional idea, so very well coordinated. And so thank you for thinking of it. And God bless you guys for making this event so special for the 10th anniversary. We're going to see if we can't get people from all denominations out there to really celebrate the procession with y'all.
Come down from the bayou and roll on the river.
Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. God bless you. Thank you so much, Father.
Thank you, Keith. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. You got it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment and this Bayou Time. But we thank you for joining us, and don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.